Good evening and welcome back to another edition of Golden Eagle Sports Report.
Tonight we will discuss the latest surrounding men's basketball and preview women's basketball postseason action.
And I go one-on-one in an interview with Marquette men's basketball player Kirk Weth.
So get ready, Marquette Nation, because Golden Eagle Sports Report starts right now.
Slam dunk! Oh, that's a poster. From the Jeannie Hayes Virtual Studio at Marquette University, this is Golden Eagle Sports Report.
Marquette gets the rebound, and the champions have gone down!
Hello everyone, I'm Molly Gretzlock.
And I'm Tyler Peters. Marquette's campus comes alive over the weekend celebrating National Marquette Day.
The men's basketball team welcomes in the Butler Bulldogs with hopes to secure another conference win.
Can the men keep the celebrations going with the victory on their big day? Andrew Muzu gives us the answer.
This isn't just any Marquette men's basketball game. This is basketball on National Marquette Day. The atmosphere is lit at Fiserv Forum as the Marquette men's basketball team laces it up against the Butler Bulldogs. It was a competitive first half, with Butler holding a slight lead over Marquette, even preventing redshirt first-year Justin Lewis from getting any type of rhythm to start. From head coach Shaka Smart, the tense play is no surprise.
At the beginning of the game, I thought our guys' excitement level was so high because of the crowd and National Marquette Day, and because of the fact that we hadn't played in 6 days, that it actually turned into a little bit of pressure that they felt, or anxiety that something wasn't going to go the way they wanted to go.
At the start of the second half, Marquette continues to fight for a lead, and then an unexpected hero checks into the game.
He's a stud, man. I know firsthand, he give me hell for real in practice.
He was phenomenal. I thought he was, I don't know who the guys will vote for, but I thought he was absolutely the domino of the game for us.
He was ready when his turn came.
Stevie Mitchell's the name, and the first-year guard's energy on both ends of the floor propels Marquette past Butler. A post-rising dunk from Justin Lewis ultimately caps off a memorable win for the Golden Eagles, handing Butler its 17th loss of the season.
Credit to their players, and they got some really good players, and coach did a good job of changing up defenses in the second half, and we didn't respond to that like we needed to, especially in the middle there when they picked up the pressure. So a lot of controllables. That's the emphasis for us, is controlling what we can control.
Marquette looks to earn back-to-back wins on Wednesday, traveling to the Windy City to face the DePaul Blue Demons. This is Andrew Muzu, Marquette Wire Sports.
The Marquette women's basketball team concludes its regular season against St. John's.
And while it may be senior day, the Red Storm are not going to let the Golden Eagles celebrate without a fight of their own. I was there with more. It is a day of endings for the Marquette women's basketball team as they take on St. John's Sunday afternoon. But those endings are happy as fans pack the stands for the Golden Eagles' regular season finale. Marquette's 3 seniors are recognized before the match. The game starts slow for Marquette as St. John's takes charge in the first quarter, leading by as much as 7 points. Graduate student guard Carissa McLaughlin hits her first 3 of the day in the second, igniting a flame for the Golden Eagles to get on a 13-3 run. They go into break with a close 42-40 lead. The two squads combine for 19 points total in the third, but Marquette is still up by 3 going into the final quarter. Thanks to made free throws and strong defense down the stretch, Marquette seals its regular season with a 79-75 victory.
Just awesome win tonight on senior night to celebrate. What a great crowd. I thought we were tremendous keeping our poise, hanging in there. For us to play 3 games in 5 days at the end of the season, that's a grind in and out of itself.
Graduate student forward Lauren Van Clunen has a memorable day, finishing with 22 points, 10 of which came in the fourth quarter.
I haven't necessarily taken it all in quite yet. I think more so after the season it's gonna hit me hard, but I'm just incredibly grateful for this opportunity.
McLaughlin follows, finishing with 19 points.
Really special, especially how we finished out here in Al McGuire Center. I'm just very thankful for the people around me and my family supporting me along the way.
Marquette heads to Connecticut, where they will take on DePaul in the quarterfinal round of the Big East tournament on Friday.
At DePaul Marquette, round 3, we might as well, have a little fun with it. And again, to do it in the tournament would be exciting, going out to Mohegan Sun with fans now finally.
Reporting from the Al McGuire Center, I'm Molly Gretzlock, Marquette Wire Sports.
With that, we would now like to welcome in women's beat reporter Jackson Gross for more insight on the women before they head to the Big East tournament. Jackson, good to have you back on the show.
Always good to talk some Big East hoops with you, Molly.
Yes, let's get started. Now first, Chloe Murata announced last week that she will use her next year of eligibility to finish up the season for next year. Is this a big move for the Golden Eagles?
It absolutely is, and that's outside of obviously losing 3 key pieces, as we talked about with Chris McLaughlin, Lauren Van Clunen, and Antoinette Walker. But what she does, she's not going to put up huge point totals or everything, but it's everything else that she does. She rebounds, she defends, she's a pretty good playmaker, and she's versatile. She can play the 3, the 4, the 5. So she can defend a whole lot of different positions and still give them Marquette a really solid opportunity on offense, not just with her playmaking, but offensive rebounding as well.
Yes, for sure. She's a big key aspect, and she definitely helps in all aspects around the court. And now the Big East Women's Tournament is officially starting this weekend, and Marquette is slated to play DePaul in the first round. The Blue Demons are led by star first year Anisha Morrow. What will it take to stop her and get this first win to advance?
Wow, that's a really difficult question. I mean, especially after her performance on Sunday at Creighton. 41 points,
She's good.
17 rebounds, and I think 2 blocks. So
insane.
Essentially, and tactically breaking it down, you're going to have to double her. You can't let her just go to work. And obviously, Marquette's got a little bit more size than Creighton does, but you got to double her and just let anyone else boot you. Now, DePaul obviously has some great players outside of Anisha Morrow, like Daisha Church being one of them. And you just have to rotate out the shooters and really communicate well defensively, because you can't win letting her go off for another 40 and 20 gamers, or even like a 20 and 10, because she just impacts so much on both sides of the floor.
Yes, for sure. She is a very good player. But on the bright side, they have had all week to kind of prepare for that and her. So hopefully we will be seeing a first round win. But now on Sunday, the team celebrated senior night, where they recognized Lauren Van Clunen, Chris McLaughlin, and Antoinette Walker. They were really big contributors. What is going to happen, and how will this affect the team going forward?
You're losing a lot, not only on the court, but especially with Lauren Van Clunen off of it. We joke around here that Matt Yazel is like the staple of GESR, but Lauren Van Clunen has been the staple for years now with Marquette women's basketball. So obviously, like I said, not just on the court, but off the court, she has been this team's leader for years now. And then obviously with Chris McLaughlin, you're losing a lot of 3-point shooting. I mean, outside of her, there isn't a lot of 3-point shooting as this roster is currently constructed. So they're going to have to find some ways to replace that, whether it's players already on the team getting better at the 3-point shot, or finding other players through transfers, or new first-year players. And then Antoinette Walker, she's been at a real revelation as of late, even when Danielle Middleton had that non-COVID illness. So she's going to be a big loss too.
Yes, for sure. All 3 were big contributors, and it'll be tough shoes to fill. And I really like that analogy you mentioned, the staple Matt Yazel. We'll be seeing him later on the show. But as for right now, Jackson, appreciate your time. And coming up, our very own Tyler Peters goes one-on-one with Kirkwood. So keep it right here after the break.
Stand is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to load their minds. Dare to explore. Dare to STEM. Learn more at She Can STEM.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Welcome back to Golden Eagle Sports Report. Once again, I'm Tyler Peters.
And I'm Molly Grenslot. The men's basketball team has just 2 more regular season games before postseason play begins.
I sat down with center Kirk Weth in an exclusive one-on-one interview discussing the team's historically good year, previewing postseason action, and more. We now want to welcome in men's basketball center Kirk Weth. Kirk, it's great to have you on the show.
I'm glad to be here.
All right. Well, my first question to you is, obviously experiencing National Marquette Day for the first time. What was that like for you?
It was a great experience. I got to feel the whole Marquette force. The fans were great that day. Just the whole Marquette experience was, it really made me enjoy that day, and it makes it a day that I remember forever now.
And now let's dive into kind of the beginning of this season. You obviously went against Coach Smart back in your days at Oklahoma in the Big 12. What was your initial reaction seeing him for the first time and kind of getting to understand the culture that he brings to this program?
So seeing him for the first time, it was cool because he's Coach Smart's a welcoming person. It's kind of weird, going to the opposing coach's team. I see the little hate for that, but in my opinion, it was a great decision, and I feel like me and Coach Smart, we built a great relationship, and I feel like I made the right decision choosing Marquette.
And something that he always says is lost in the fight. What does that mean to you?
Being lost in the fight, to me, it means just, giving it your all, fighting for your teammates, your brothers, basically. But yeah, just leaving it all on the floor.
Yeah, and then, throughout this season, you guys have had a number of key wins, whether it was Illinois or Villanova twice, but I want to talk about that game against Villanova on the road at the Finn. What was that like for you as a player to experience something like that?
It was a great experience, just being in the college so long, playing against many great schools like Villanova, being able to win over there, making history for Marquette it was a great experience, something that you just can't take from us because we made that history. We set our standards right then and there.
And talking about standards, this team was projected in the Big East preseason coaches poll to finish 9th, and here you guys are in 5th place as of right now. At what point this season did you realize this team could be a legitimate contender in the Big East Conference?
We realized it before the season even started, through summer workouts. We had everybody here. We're going hard, doing all the workouts. We've all built great relationships throughout the summer. We really built great, strong relationships, and we felt like we were all good together. We had the perfect pieces to make a run, in whatever tournament's going to be, either Big East or the March Madness. We took that standing that they predicted us, and we used that as motivation to prove people wrong. Just because all the doubt and knowing that it's a new young team with a new coach, we're not going to get a lot of respect, but we worked hard and we earned the respect.
And talking about a team that's young, it also had a lot of new faces this season. That's one of the biggest challenges everyone was talking about for this team. And Coach Smart would always tell us, this team isn't at where we need to be yet. We haven't exactly gelled together yet. We haven't played a lot of basketball with each other. Do you guys think you've gelled together now at this point in the season?
I felt we gelled together pretty well, but I feel like we still have a big leap that we're still working on getting over. We still have a lot of potential, a lot of room for potentials, There's a lot of room for improvement. We make mistakes here and there, but we're continuing to learn from it every day, and we're working hard every day to, become the best version of ourselves, because we know there's no limit for us, especially with what's going on with the predictions and stuff. So I feel like we're strong. We're a strong team, and we're still growing. We're still growing a lot.
And then kind of looking ahead this season, obviously you have 2 more regular season matches, and then you head into Madison Square Garden for the Big East tournament. What's the mindset going forward into these final 2 regular season games and then postseason play?
The mindset going into these last 2 games of regular season is just, finish strong. We got to finish. You got to finish violently. We got to just keep the energy going because, these games, these are 2 good teams that we're gonna play, and the last 2 we got to go out strong to finish the regular season right, and so we can make a run in the Big East tournament.
And now I kind of want to talk about the talent that is on this roster, specifically one player named Justin Lewis. What's it like playing with a player like him, and do you think he's going to win Big East Player of the Year?
Yes, he's a great player. Justin does a lot for us, I feel like he does deserve to win Big East Player of the Year just because just how much he's grown from last season to this year, becoming definitely the most improved player in the Big East in my opinion. He deserves that award as well in my opinion because he does everything for us. He guards for us, he rebounds, he scores the ball. He's really the glue to us. He holds us together, and I feel like he needs to get his respect.
Yeah, and then kind of going off that, talking about people who hold this team together, Coach Smart and Coach Hatt and other coaches as well. How have those people helped you grow as a player this season?
They've helped me grow a lot. They've taught me a lot, like a lot of knowledge, not even just about basketball, just about real life situations. Which the things that they tell me can correspond with basketball, but at the end of the day, basketball's not going to be here forever. So, they really teach me how to become my own man, how to respect others. Just a lot of core values that a lot of people need. But on the court, they're teaching me a lot more things that I'm gonna need for my future pro career. They're very knowledgeable coaches. They know a lot. They have a great history of winning, and they're all great. And just the relationships I built with them is the reason I came to Marquette.
Well, there you go. But that's all we got. We appreciate, again, you coming on the show. And as always, good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you. Appreciate you for
problem.
having me.
Yeah, appreciate it. Have a good one. Well, it was certainly a pleasure getting to talk with Queth. The team takes on DePaul in Chicago tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Up next, what's the deal with Major League Baseball, and does the Marquette men's basketball team have what it takes to win the Big East tournament crown? We'll discuss it all after the break.
Have you ever seen somebody treated unfairly because of the color of their skin?
Do you guys know what it means to have white privilege?
What is racism, and what do you think about it?
Talk to young children about what racism is, giving them the language to understand it. They can be disruptors. They can shape and shift culture.
We may not always know the answer, but we'll try and help you learn.
You don't have to have all the answers, but that doesn't mean we can't start.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
What are you looking for?
And we are back in Studio 7 as we will discuss the latest headlines surrounding Marquette men's basketball and what lies ahead for the upcoming MLB season. And now joining me tonight, I have Tyler Peters, Jackson Gross, and Matt Yazel. Let's get started. Kirk Queth mentioned in the interview earlier that he believes Justin Lewis will be Big East Player of the Year. Do you guys agree? And what other Golden Eagles do you see potentially bringing home some hardware?
I think he certainly has a good case for the award. I mean, he's the only player in the top 5 in both points and rebounds in the Big East Conference, averaging about 16.5 points, just under 8 rebounds a game. And I think it really just depends on what the Big East committee, whoever's voting on the award, kind of values. Because I think if they're valuing a team's success, maybe you can sneak Colin Gillespie into that conversation with how he's been leading that Villanova team. And then I think if you're looking more just at stats, maybe you can include a Julian Champagny at St. John's, averaging 19 points a game. But, St. John's team struggled early on in the season, then kind of came up a little bit. Marquette will see them at Fiserv Forum on Saturday. But I think with Justin Lewis, his case is, obviously those stats, but really just leading this team and the transition this team took when he started to play a lot better. We saw him struggle a little bit, at least shooting-wise, earlier on, but in general, he's been very consistent throughout the season. And when he really started taking off, that's when this team really flipped a switch from a kind of mediocre start and then really just taking over when they were ranked in the top 25.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on everything that you just said. I think Justin Lewis very well is on his way to winning the Big East Player of the Year. And you touched on a couple of things, but I also want to mention, I think Justin simply is just a winner. And I think that's a huge thing for his case, because you look at all these other players, they have the stats or they have the leadership. He has both. He can do both, and he is the biggest reason why Marquette's in the position that they're in right now. And he's one of the biggest reasons why they won some of these big games when you look at that Villanova game, especially on the road at the Finn.
Yeah, I think both of you guys have brought up some really good points about Justin Lewis. I mean, he's shooting 40% in the field and nearly 40% from three. I mean, what more could you ask from a guy, especially how you said, Matt, how he had started out. But I think in terms of other guys who could get some hardware, I think Shaka Smart's definitely in contention for Big East Coach of the Year. I think he's well beyond earned that, with considering they're picked 9th to finish in the Big East. They have a ton of new players, and how he's been able to gel them this quickly has been incredible. And then a bit of a dark horse here. I'm going to say that Cam Jones is a dark horse for Big East Freshman of the Year. Shaka Smart said Cam Jones is one of, if not the best first-year player he's ever been around. I think that he's got an outside shot at it.
I think he's been the most electrifying player on this Marquette team. I mean, I know from broadcasting some of the games, just the moments where the crowd gets most into it is when Cam Jones hits 2 threes in a row. I mean, it's been fun to watch him this season.
Yeah, when he gets going, he starts shooting, and it's fun to watch. But now moving on, the men's team has only 2 more regular season matches before they will go to New York to start the Big East Conference play. Now, who do you see posing as the biggest threat when they go to Madison Square Garden?
Well, for me, I certainly don't think it's Providence, and they're getting their you-know-what kicked by Villanova right now.
Oh, wow.
But I think, to me, there's 2 teams that I look at where I'm like, these are 2 teams that I'm concerned about going into the Big East tournament, and that's Villanova, because you can never count out Jay Wright and his guys. And that program's known to win when the times matter most. And then another team I'm looking at is Uconn, because Uconn is it's been a pretty bad matchup for Marquette this season.
Yes, it has.
Especially, yeah. Matt, you know that very well. You cover every game. But the rebounding has been an issue for Marquette this season. That's something that Uconn excels at. So that's another matchup I'm looking at, where if that's a team that they play in the Big East tournament, I don't know.
Yeah, that's my team too. Like Uconn, I think they can run with Villanova. They can definitely run with Providence. They 30-bombed them earlier in the year, and then obviously the 2-point loss at Providence. So Villanova could beat them twice this year. But yeah, Uconn, especially with that rebounding matchup, it gives me nightmares, to be honest.
Is Providence really the 9th best team in the country, though? Like, I just don't believe that. I think there's been so many games that they've had where they've, it's come down to the last possession. And
right.
I mean, granted, they've won those games, but eventually you got to think their luck runs out, right?
Yeah, you'd think so. I mean, it's just you got to look at their record. They've lost 3 games, I think, maybe 4 after tonight.
Marquette by 32 points, like it just.
I know, and I mean, looking back in hindsight, that 2-point loss at Providence would have been a huge win for this Marquette team. But in terms of the Big East tournament, the problem for Marquette right now is they're looking at a 5 seed right now. I don't see that moving in the last week, and you're most likely looking at a matchup between either Creighton or Uconn. 2 teams that Marquette did not beat this season. But I will say, the 2 Creighton games this year, I think, again, in hindsight, are games Marquette really should have won both of them. That, double overtime, New Year's Day, crazy shot by Alex O'Connell. I think Marquette would be okay matching up with Creighton again. It's been 2 fun games. But I agree, that Uconn matchup, tough. I don't see Jay Wright losing to Marquette 3 times in one season. I just don't. He's still an incredible coach. I think he would have his guys ready for that. But it'll be tough, and it'll be fun in Madison Square Garden for sure.
Now, quick takes, where do you see them finishing? Where are they going to finish?
I say they lose in the semifinals.
Okay.
I got them win the whole thing. I
The
think
whole
they're
thing.
actually no. I have
Marquette
Georgetown doing
Marquette
it all
stand.
over this year. They're going to get their first win in conference play. No, I'm just
Right.
kidding.
Not a bad spot to get their first win.
That's when it counts.
No, I got them. I'd probably say like losing it. It's hard because it depends like who they say they play in the first round. But I'll say they lose in the final.
All right, now quick switching over to the MLB. The player union and owners failed to reach a new collective bargaining agreement earlier today, and now opening day has officially been canceled. Who's more to blame, the owners or players? And now we'll get to Matt a little bit. He has a lot to say about this, but Jackson, let's start.
Yeah, oh God. I don't know how any rational person could say it's no one but the owner's fault at this point. They want to expand the playoffs, but the players don't get any of the money from the playoffs. They only get $500K if they win the World Series, and it gets less and less as you go along. And the minimum contracts for players, I saw a graph before we started. It started at $535,000 in 2017, and now it's up to $567,000. It's like,
Yeah.
and they're trying to make it seem, oh, look at this. It's such a big increase. No, it's not. So, and right now I saw that they were like at a $50K difference in minimum salary. The players want it at like $750K. The owners want it $675K.
You'd think there's a compromise there.
Well, the lockout started on December 2nd, and then it took 43 days to finally get their first negotiation, and then the meeting lasts 15 minutes. It's like, what are these people doing, and what are the owners doing waiting out that long? Look, I agree the owners, I think they're a big part in this, and they're probably more so of an issue in these negotiations than the players, but I think you got to put the fault in both sides, because it takes two sides to come together with an agreement. Like our boy Rob Manfred said today.
Not our boy.
The worst
Definitely
owner
not.
of all time, or commissioner rather.
All right, well, I would say I
Let's
agree
hear it.
more with Jackson. I mean, the owners are, if you haven't been following on Twitter like I have with all the reports from these meetings, basically how you sum it up is the owners want money. That's what they want. The owner, at least in my view, the owners don't care as much about the actual game of baseball. They don't care as much. I mean, you can see, the owners could end the lockout right now. We could see a tweet from Jeff Passan, ESPN reporter right now, saying the lockout's over, they want to play baseball. It's all on Major League Baseball, the owners, and Rob Manfred himself, that this lockout is happening, that opening day, the first two series are being canceled. It's a joke. It's all on them. Not saying the players, can't negotiate a little bit, but I think that's what's happening. The players just want to play. That's all they want. And I think it's an absolute joke that they haven't been able to come to some sort of agreement. And it's just really a sad day for baseball. It really is.
It is sad, and it's their job, so obviously they want to play. So hopefully something can get negotiated here. But thank you, everyone, for a great discussion. We are out of time, but be sure to tune in on March 22nd for all of our coverage on Marquette sports and more. I'm Molly Gretzlock. Good night, Marquette.